13-year-old girl disappeared into the night and was later found in a wooded area with multiple injuries caused by a dangerous object.
Year-old girl out of St. Johns County ends in tragedy. Police believe they have found the body of Tristyn Bailey Sunday evening.
Now, the Sheriff's Department says her body was found in the immediate area of Veterans Park. That's where they called the press conference just yesterday.
Surveillance footage led directly to a male classmate who was with her in the final moments, and the price he paid was a life sentence.
This jar now holds 114 stones, one for each of the 114 stab wounds that my sister had to endure.
Tried as an adult. Tristyn Bailey, born on January 18, 2008, grew up in the Durbin Crossing neighborhood of St. Johns County, Florida, a peaceful suburban area near the city of Jacksonville, where middle-class families lived and serious crimes were virtually unheard of. The Bailey family had lived there for many years and was described by neighbors as kind, approachable, and always willing to help the community. Her parents, Forrest and Stacy Bailey, were known for their dedication, love for their children, and constant involvement in the lives of their 5 kids. Tristyn was the youngest, adored and protected by her older siblings. Friends described her as cheerful, loyal, and full of positive energy. Outside of school, Tristyn was a passionate cheerleader at Patriot Oaks Academy, a well-regarded school in St. Johns County. She loved sports, especially cheering for her team, and often said it was something she wanted to continue doing in high school and college. Her life seemed filled with light and dreams, until one fateful morning when her parents discovered their daughter was no longer in her room, marking the beginning of a desperate and anxious search that would soon involve the entire community.
This is the photo the St. Johns County Sheriff's Office wants you to take a close look at. Tristyn Bailey is missing. Deputies say she was last seen during the overnight hours at the Amenities Center in the Durbin Crossing subdivision. But the search is now expanding to a nearby park, and that is where Brianna Ray Turner joins us live with the latest. Brianna?
Yeah, Jeff, I'm here at Veterans Park in St. Johns County. Now, I just want to go quickly over here because the search group, they're volunteering. These are community members from the Durbin community. Now, take a look if you could zoom in a little bit more, DJ. They're about to start their search right now. They're trying to find Tristyn Bailey, 13-year-old girl who was reported missing by her family this morning at 1 a.m. at the Durbin Amenity Center. Now, again, so many families out here. I talked with one family who says their kids went to school with Bailey, and they still can't believe something like this happened. They've been living here for about 12 years now, and they said never has a child been missing. The St. Johns County Sheriff's Office says Bailey was last wearing a white cheerleading skirt and a dark colored shirt. So if you have any information about the current whereabouts or have seen Bailey, please contact your nearest local law enforcement agency.
On Sunday morning, May 9th, which was also Mother's Day, the Bailey household was filled with warmth and joy. Forrest and Stacy woke up early to prepare breakfast as usual, unaware that this would be the morning that changed their lives forever. Around 10 o'clock, Stacy walked into her daughter's room to wake her up, only to find it completely empty. The bed neatly made as if Tristyn had never slept there. At first, she thought Tristyn might have gone to a friend's house or stepped out early, but a mother's intuition told her something was wrong. When calls to friends and neighbors yielded no answers, Stacy immediately contacted the police. News of the missing girl spread rapidly through the Durbin Crossing neighborhood, an upper-middle-class community known for its peace and safety, where children played in their yards and adults greeted one another every morning. It was considered one of the safest areas in St. Johns County, with virtually no record of serious crimes. That's why the sudden disappearance of a 13-year-old girl without a trace left everyone in shock. Police quickly launched a large-scale search. While dozens of local families volunteered to help, they printed flyers, shared information on social media, and spread out across the area, hoping to find Tristyn safe and sound. Investigators later said they were deeply moved by the unity and swift response of the Durban Crossing community during the first critical hours of the disappearance. After many hours of searching, investigators obtained a crucial lead from security cameras within the Durban Crossing neighborhood. The footage showed that around 1:15 a.m., Tristyn Bailey left her home and was walking with a school friend, 14-year-old Aiden Fucci. It was a much later hour than her family's usual curfew, suggesting that she might have quietly slipped out without informing her parents. The cameras captured the two teenagers walking through the parking lot of the neighborhood's community center, then heading toward a wooded area nearby. Another classmate, whose identity has been withheld because of his age, later told investigators that both Tristyn and Aiden had visited his house earlier that night and left together around 1 a.m., saying they just wanted to take a short walk before going home. After that point, no further footage of Tristyn appeared. However, about 3 hours later, another camera in the area recorded Aiden returning from the wooded area, this time alone. Tristyn's absence in the later recordings immediately prompted police to escalate the investigation's urgency, as it suggested that something unusual might have happened during that brief window of time between the two video captures. After reviewing all the footage from the neighborhood's security cameras, police determined that Aiden Fucci was the last person seen with Tristyn. They immediately went to the 14-year-old's home to speak with him and brought him to the station for questioning to clarify the final hours before the girl went missing. On the way to the sheriff's office, when asked to retrace the route he and Tristyn had taken, Aiden appeared unusually calm. While sitting in the patrol car, he took out his phone, snapped several selfies, and posted them on social media with a mocking caption. "Hey everyone, has anyone seen Tristyn lately?"
We're having fun in a f***ing cop car.
Yep. Tristyn.
What's up, guys?
Yep.
Tristyn, if you f***ing walk out the damn...
When you see this in a
Fucci's cousin told investigators that he often came over to her house several times a week. In her statement, the young girl said the last time she saw him was on Thursday, May 1st. But they had continued texting afterward, including right after Fucci sent that selfie from the back seat of the patrol car. The photo quickly spread among classmates, leaving everyone stunned. When asked if she had ever noticed anything unusual about her cousin's behavior, she admitted that Fucci had once half-jokingly said, "One day, I'll probably end up in jail." At the time, no one thought much of it, but the remark would later feel eerily prophetic. Not long after, Fucci's demeanor shifted completely. Inside the patrol car, he began crying, punching the seat, and blurting out in panic, "I'm going to get arrested for this." Police noted the sudden emotional breakdown, but things became even more serious when they searched Fucci's bedroom. There, they found pieces of clothing with suspicious traces, along with numerous dark, disturbing sketches filled with strange symbolism. Some of the drawings depicted images so unsettling that they seemed to reflect the troubled and shadowed state of the teenager's mind. When investigators asked why it had taken him so long to return home, Fucci calmly replied that he had simply gone for a walk to clear his head, saying he had wandered around the neighborhood until about 3:30 a.m. before going home. His statement sounded harmless on the surface, but given the circumstances, it only deepened the police's suspicions. Then, just 16 hours after the search had begun, devastating news arrived. The victim had been found in a wooded area near a lake. The entire community fell silent, and investigators knew at that moment that the case had gone far beyond a typical missing person investigation.
Year-old girl out of St. Johns County ends in tragedy. Police believe they have found the body of Tristyn Bailey Sunday evening after she was reported missing that morning.
Our Renata Di Gregorio live now at Bailey School. Renata.
Lou, Keitha, we are at Patriot Oaks Academy, and this is where there will be extra grief counselors at the school today because this is where Tristyn Bailey went to school. Now, the sheriff's department says her body was found in the immediate area of Veterans Park. That's where they called the press conference just yesterday. A volunteer search group had just gathered at the Durbin Crossing North Amenity Center, which is where Bailey was last seen on midnight Saturday. But before they began their search, the police called that press conference at the Veterans Park. The Amenity Center posted on Twitter that it will be closed until further notice. The sheriff's department says they are still investigating, and one of Bailey's close friends and cheer teammates says she talked with Bailey on Snapchat around 10 p.m. Saturday, and that was just hours before she was last seen.
It makes me really sad that the last time I saw her was at cheer.
And again, there will be grief counselors at Bailey School here, Patriot Oaks Academy. A lot of people reaching out online, even finding Bailey on TikTok, Instagram, and on social media, and saying that they really hope that justice is served. Of course.
That morning, a neighbor out for a jog along Saddlestone Drive happened to take a different trail. A decision that would lead him to a scene he would never forget. In a wooded area near the edge of the lake, he discovered the motionless body of a young girl. Shocked and trembling, he immediately called the police. Within minutes, the area was sealed off, and investigators quickly confirmed that this was the site of the tragic incident. From the initial examination, they observed that the victim had sustained multiple severe injuries, making it clear this was no longer a simple missing person case. The body was transported for forensic examination, while the girl's parents were called in to make an identification. When they confirmed it was Tristyn, the room was overcome with tears. She was still wearing her cheerleading outfit, and authorities confirmed there was no evidence suggesting any other form of wrongdoing related to morality. All the evidence pointed to an unthinkable tragedy that no one could have anticipated. The question that tormented the entire community was, how could the body of a 13-year-old girl end up in that area with so many signs of injury? Who could have been capable of such cruelty? Shock quickly turned into determination. The residents of the neighborhood united with the police to uncover the truth. They reviewed every security camera around their homes, every personal recording, hoping to find a clue that would lead to whoever was responsible for the tragedy. The area around the lake was tightly sealed off, and for days, divers and search teams carefully combed through every inch of the water. Although officials did not publicly reveal details, everyone understood they were searching for a crucial piece of evidence, something that could finally unveil the mystery behind this heartbreaking case. 14-year-old Aiden Fucci quickly became the prime suspect and was transferred to a juvenile detention center in St. Johns County. His first hearing was held via Zoom, and the video soon spread online, drawing widespread public attention. During that session, the judge declared there was sufficient evidence to hold Aiden in custody until the end of May, before the official trial began. While he was detained, one of the county's most experienced investigators, a veteran with more than 10 years in the field, stated that he had complete confidence in the direction of the investigation. He said this was a case that would be pursued to the very end, as all the evidence gathered pointed to one person, Aiden Fucci. According to him, what the teenager had done to Tristyn was a deliberate, cruel act that could not be justified. For law enforcement, there was no longer any doubt. They were convinced they had found the person responsible for this tragedy. News of Tristyn's passing quickly spread beyond St. Johns County and across the entire United States. On social media, thousands expressed their grief and outrage over the cruelty she had endured. Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter were flooded with messages of sympathy, prayers, and calls for justice for Tristyn. However, amid the wave of emotion, a small group of people posted controversial comments defending Aiden. Some even wrote things like, "This is what it takes to become famous," as if turning a tragedy into a way to seek attention. Such distorted remarks sparked widespread anger. At the same time, false rumors began to circulate, claims that others were involved or that Tristyn had been attacked before. The misinformation spread so quickly that police were forced to issue an official statement, confirming that most of what was being shared online was completely untrue. They emphasized that there was only one perpetrator and justice would soon be served. After identifying the suspect, investigators began searching for answers to the biggest question of all. What could have driven a 14-year-old to commit such a tragedy? Both Tristyn and Aiden were students at a prestigious school ranked among the top 5% in the nation, a place where children were raised in what many considered an ideal environment. For that reason, no one could comprehend what had pushed the boy to such a dark point. Information revealed that Aiden and his mother had moved to the Durbin Crossing neighborhood about 6 months before the incident. And although he had adjusted to school life, he never seemed to fully share the same values or moral compass as the community around him. In an interview, one investigator remarked that the teenager appeared to possess a chilling detachment, a sign of deep emotional instability that could not be ignored. However, as the law dictates, at that time Aiden Fucci was still considered innocent until proven guilty in court. As the investigation progressed, Aiden Fucci, though still a minor, was transferred from the Juvenile Detention Center and officially charged as an adult. This decision marked a serious turning point in the case. When asked by the media whether Aiden would be held with adult inmates, an officer explained that he would remain separated while awaiting trial to ensure his safety. However, that separation was only temporary. Prosecutors confirmed that Aiden would face a charge of first-degree murder, one of the most serious offenses under Florida law. This meant the entire trial would proceed under the highest level of legal severity. Many speculated that if convicted, Aiden could face a life sentence without the possibility of parole. Yet what truly divided public opinion was not only the sentence awaiting a teenager, but the broader question of where to draw the line between justice and compassion. As society was forced to confront the harsh reality that behind this horrifying act, the perpetrator was still just a 14-year-old boy. According to the forensic report, Tristan Bailey had suffered a total of 114 wounds, a number so staggering that even the most seasoned investigators were left speechless. Each wound stood as evidence of the cruelty and lack of humanity behind the act. There were 113 chances to stop, to realize the wrongdoing. Yet he never did. When dive teams searched the lake near the scene, they found the weapon, a simple folding knife. The blade, which had broken off, was discovered lodged in the victim's body and matched perfectly with the handle recovered from Aiden's home. Investigators believed the only reason he stopped was because the knife had broken. Of the 114 injuries, 49 were identified as defensive wounds, marks showing that Tristyn had fought back with every ounce of strength she had, desperately trying to protect her life. She did not give up. She did not surrender. And that made this tragedy all the more heartbreaking. though her small body could not overcome such senseless brutality. Tristyn's courage and determination left the world in awe. At this point, investigators had gathered a substantial body of evidence pointing directly to Aiden, even though he had not confessed to anything. The proof went beyond physical evidence. It also included statements from several close friends and his girlfriend, who revealed that Aiden had often spoken about violent urges, saying he wanted to hurt someone. One person even recalled that he had mentioned his intention to do it within 30 days, describing how he would lure a victim into the woods and attack with a weapon. Those chilling remarks were made exactly 1 month before the tragedy occurred, and as the investigation unfolded, it appeared that he had followed through on his words. A friend of Aiden's girlfriend was also interviewed by police, and she said that from the very beginning, she had never liked him. In her eyes, Aiden was the cold, detached, and emotionless type, traits that experts later identified as common in individuals with underlying violent tendencies. According to the state attorney, there was no longer any doubt. This was a deliberate, premeditated act of first-degree murder. He stated that Aiden had planned it in advance, not out of conflict or personal hatred, but simply because he wanted to carry out what he had previously spoken about. Tragically, Tristyn happened to be the one who crossed his path at exactly the wrong time. Tristyn's family appeared before the media several times, sharing the profound pain they were enduring and expressing hope that their daughter's story would serve as a warning to others. They wanted young girls to learn how to protect themselves and parents to understand that sometimes unusual changes in a child's behavior should never be ignored. Their sorrow was met with compassion and solidarity from the community. Hundreds of bouquets and teal ribbons were placed in front of their home and at Tristyn's resting place, symbols of love and everlasting remembrance. Yet amid the wave of empathy, cruel messages began to appear from a few young people online, some even sending senseless and heartless threats. Perhaps they did not understand the seriousness of their actions, or saw it as some kind of reckless joke. In response, the police intervened and issued a public warning that any threats directed toward the victim's family would be prosecuted under the law. They did this not only to protect a grieving family, but also to affirm that compassion must prevail, even in the darkest of times. The case took an unexpected turn when Aiden's mother, Crystal Smith, was suddenly arrested on charges of tampering with evidence. According to the case files, after learning that her son had been taken in for questioning, she entered Aiden's room, took the jeans he had worn the night of the incident, and attempted to wash them in the sink in an effort to remove suspicious traces. What she did not realize was that the entire act had been captured by the home's own security cameras. When police collected evidence from the residence, they also retrieved footage showing her hurriedly washing the jeans, glancing around nervously, despite relatives nearby urging her to stop. At that time, she reportedly did not yet know that Tristyn had passed away, but her actions were still considered an obstruction of the investigation. Although Crystal Smith was temporarily arrested, she was later released on bond. Still, the image of a mother, fearful and desperate, sparked intense public debate, raising a painful question about the thin line between a parent's instinct to protect their child and the demands of justice. Later, part of Aiden's interrogation at the sheriff's office was released to the public, revealing several notable details. In the footage, Aiden was seen sitting in the interview room with his parents. When the officer stepped out, the three of them were left alone, unaware that the conversation was still being recorded. In the audio, the two adults were reportedly heard advising Aiden to stick to his story, leading many to believe they might have known more than they had admitted, though that remains speculation. In his official statement, Aiden said that on the night in question, he and Tristyn had walked toward the wooded area near North Durban Avenue, crossing Leith Hall Drive. He claimed that an argument broke out between them after Tristyn did something that made him angry, and that he pushed her, left her there, and walked away. Investigators noted his account but were unconvinced, as it could not explain the sheer number of injuries the victim had sustained. During the same interview, when asked what he had been wearing that night, Aiden replied that he was wearing jeans. However, his mother quickly interrupted, insisting that he was mistaken and that he had actually worn khakis, a seemingly small correction that would later become a key detail, as the hastily washed pair of jeans from their home turned out to be one of the most critical pieces of evidence in the upcoming trial. But what Aiden told investigators did not match reality at all. When police discovered the body, Tristyn was lying on her right side with a cell phone, a $20 bill, and a cotton candy-flavored vape beside her, all of which bore faint red stains, indicating she had fought back until the very end. Investigators also noted a strange detail. On Tristyn's left ankle, the word karma was scribbled, and on her right ankle, there was a smiley face drawn in pen, mysterious markings that no one has been able to fully explain. Once the autopsy results were released, Aiden's statement quickly lost credibility. Police concluded there was no way Tristyn had simply been pushed, as he claimed. The growing body of evidence revealed a much darker truth, one that even Aiden's parents might have, to some extent, tried to conceal. In her testimony, Aiden's girlfriend said he often carried two small knives, which he had given unsettling nicknames, Picker and Poker. And when asked to describe them, she confirmed that one of the knives looked identical to the weapon recovered from the lake. Eventually, Aiden Fucci was transferred to an adult detention facility, and it was there that the case took yet another unexpected turn. The prosecutor's office announced that they had obtained a new witness, an inmate at the county jail who reportedly overheard Aiden speaking about key details related to the case. The identity of this witness was kept confidential, but his testimony was considered a critical piece that could further strengthen the prosecution's case. At the same time, prosecutors confirmed they had up to 250 witnesses ready to testify in court to uncover what truly happened and to fight for justice on behalf of the Bailey family. Although Aiden continued to remain silent about his guilt, the truth was gradually unfolding. Through each testimony, each piece of evidence, and each life forever changed by this devastating tragedy. Before the preliminary hearing, images of Aiden Fucci, the 14-year-old accused of causing the tragic case, were broadcast live from the Duval County Jail. He appeared in an orange prison uniform, his hands cuffed, entering a small room with a phone set up for the court proceedings. On camera, Aiden looked confused, his eyes wandering around the room as if he couldn't grasp what was happening. That blank, bewildered expression left viewers unsure whether they were witnessing genuine confusion or a calculated performance from a teenager now facing the irreversible consequences of his own actions.
I don't want you demons. I don't want you demons take my soul. You demons want to take my soul away. I don't let you demons steal my soul. I don't know what's going on. I see you first. What's going on? What you got going on? Why am I here? I just want to talk to my mom and dad. What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? I used myself, but why are you these change?
A security officer entered the room, removed the wall-mounted phone receiver, and handed it to Aiden. He brushed his long hair back, then sat there with a vacant expression, his eyes unfocused. As he held the phone, Aiden began rocking back and forth in his chair, his gaze darting around the room as if he couldn't comprehend where he was. After a moment, his voice grew faint as he muttered incoherent phrases about darkness and spirits threatening to take over his mind. He could be clearly heard saying, "The demons are going to take my soul," as though trapped in a hallucination or a mental breakdown. Then, suddenly, Aiden looked up, his voice trembling and filled with desperation. "Why am I here? I just want to talk to my mom and dad. What's happening to me?" The live video of Aiden Fucci ended in silence, leaving a heavy feeling for everyone who had been watching. Following that appearance, his defense attorney filed a waiver of the right to a speedy trial, a common tactic to allow more time for preparation, and the case was rescheduled for October 28th. Aiden's strange behavior in the footage quickly drew attention from experts. A forensic psychologist, though not directly involved in the case, remarked that he wouldn't be surprised if Aiden were ordered to undergo a mental competency evaluation before trial. According to him, the confusion, vacant stare, and apparent detachment from reality that Aiden displayed could indicate a serious psychological disorder, though the possibility of him faking those symptoms could not be ruled out. Based on the behavioral patterns and prior data, the psychologist believed that Aiden's mental state might have played a significant role in the case. Another attorney, Gene Nichols, agreed that competency evaluations are not uncommon for young defendants, but cautioned that such a process could delay the case by several months. However, up to that point, the judge had not issued any order for a psychological assessment, and investigators had not confirmed whether Aiden Fucci was truly suffering from any mental health condition. Before the official trial began, on February 6, 2023, Aiden Fucci stunned everyone in the St. Johns County courtroom when he suddenly admitted to the charge of first-degree murder. His confession came just minutes before the jury was set to be convened, and in that moment, the entire room fell into absolute silence. Fucci uttered only two brief words: "I'm guilty." No excuses, no explanations. The abrupt decision marked a turning point in the entire case, a late confession, yet one that spared the victim's family from having to relive every horrifying detail of the tragedy during trial. With those words, the door to justice began to close, but the wounds left behind in the hearts of those who remained would never truly heal. A separate hearing was scheduled for Crystal Smith, Aiden's mother, regarding the charge of evidence tampering. It was postponed to October 28th, the same date that new developments were expected in Aiden's main case. That day, the teenager chose to waive his right to appear in person, making only a brief online appearance before a new preliminary hearing date was set for February 2nd. And then, after months of waiting, on March 24, 2023, the St. Johns County Court in Florida officially delivered Aiden Fucci's sentence. Judge R. Lee Smith read the verdict in a solemn tone.
I sentence you to life in prison.
Life imprisonment without the possibility of parole for the first-degree murder of 13-year-old Tristyn Bailey. He emphasized that Fucci's actions were exceptionally cruel, showing no trace of humanity or remorse. Although Aiden had committed the crime at just 14 years old, he was tried as an adult. However, under Florida law, he will have the right to request a sentence review after 25 years if he can demonstrate significant rehabilitation while incarcerated. It was a sentence considered as fair as possible in a case that had shocked the entire nation, one where justice was served, but no one truly won. At the sentencing that day, Tristyn's family was present in full, carrying a grief no words could express. Her mother, Stacey Bailey, stood before the court with tears streaming down her face and said softly, "We've lost the light of our family. No sentence can ever bring her back, but at least today, justice has been served." Tristyn's father, Forrest Bailey, stood silently in the courtroom, his voice low as he said he only hoped that no other family would ever have to endure the pain they had suffered. Behind them, friends, teachers, and hundreds of St. John's residents sat quietly, many holding hands, many in tears. Everyone brought white flowers and teal ribbons, Tristyn's favorite color. Right after the hearing, the community gathered for an outdoor vigil, where hundreds of candles were lit. Prayers were whispered into the night air, and the name Tristyn Bailey was spoken in solemn silence. That night, all of St. Johns County seemed to pause, to honor a young girl whose heart shone with light, a life gone too soon, yet forever remembered by everyone who ever knew her. The story of Tristyn Bailey is not just a heartbreaking case recorded in Florida's history, but also a powerful reminder of the fragility of youth and the importance of listening, observing, and understanding our children during the most vulnerable stages of their lives. From this tragedy, we learn that darkness can sometimes hide in the safest places, and that care, awareness, and love within a family are the strongest shields to protect those we cherish. Thank you for listening to today's story in True Crime Documentary, where we not only recount real-life cases, but also honor innocent lives and remind one another of the value of compassion and life itself. If you were moved by Tristyn's story, please share this video so that more people can learn about it, and leave a comment below as a tribute to her memory. Don't forget to subscribe and click like so you won't miss the next stories in True Crime Documentary. See you in the next episode, where we continue our journey in search of truth, justice, and humanity amid the darkest corners of our world.